Oh, I'm sorry. Ooh, Lord. That's the theme song for John's new show. But you know what? We're going to play it anyway. What the hell? Welcome to that little gay talk show, y'all. You're hearing the theme song for John's H-Town Spin. So just enjoy that because you're not going to hear it on this show. Although it's pretty lively. Don't you think it's pretty lively, John? It's pretty lively. Mm-hmm. It's almost over, guys. And we're done. We're done. I think that's enough of that. That's enough. Welcome to that little gay talk show. Here we go again. This is episode, I don't know what. This is take two. Take two. Here's the thing. We've been talking for 10 minutes. And for some strange reason, I thought I pushed the record button, which I did. And then I was messing around with a bunch of other buttons, and it turns out that the record button turned off. I think I can go back into the screen and turn the return button off. Or the record button off. I said the return. The record button off. So let me introduce you to the host of his own talk show that'll be coming up here shortly. Next week, actually. It is John Floyd of the H-Town Spin. By the way, gay men, don't get excited. He's heterosexual. And lesbians, well, you know the deal. Now, you know the deal, and you want to keep him out of that room at any time. Although I have threatened to introduce John to some real lesbians so he can get out of that Showtime era of what lesbian was in the 90s. If you remember from all the prison shows in the 90s from HBO where all the women who were lonely in prison decided that they were going to be with each other. And he remembers this because he used to make me watch this shit late at night when I came home from work. Oh, John, I just got out of work. Do you really think I would have watched two hot women in prison in a shower scene, soaping each other up while you're sitting there with a raging boner that I can't do nothing about because we are friends? And at the time, by the way, at the time, I was not gay at the time.
You were.
No, I mean...
You didn't know, but you weren't.
No, I knew, but, you know...
You didn't know.
I didn't
you
know.
You knew, but you didn't know.
I knew, but I didn't know. I thought I was just a good Christian boy. That's what I thought I was.
Is that what it was? Okay.
I thought I was a good Christian boy just saving himself for marriage.
Right.
But it turns out that, and do not take any offense to this, John.
I don't.
I did see you when you watched the Showtime specials.
I don't. And I
you
mean,
were
that
young.
was, guys. If you don't know the backstory between Joel and I, Joel and I have known each other since the age of like 15. We're both in our early 50s, so we've known each other for about 37, 38 years.
Yes, we shared we used to share a bed together when we were teenagers.
Joel,
we did. It's the truth.
When we first moved out of our parents' homes, Joel and I were roommates. I trusted Joel. He was literally the closest person to me that I trusted and stuff like that. So, was it not true? Instead of me getting a roommate that I knew nothing about, I chose to get a roommate with somebody that I was very familiar with and stuff like that. So. That's that.
But was it not true that you had your own back door to when you were a teenager to your room? I did, which was cool. I did. The only teenager with his own back door to.
I did. It went from my room into the kitchen and then out the door,
out the backyard. And I would sneak over, and we'd have like little parties in his room.
Now that was at that time. Joel was the furthest thing from being gay that you could be.
Oh, I wasn't the furthest, but I didn't find you attractive, so I didn't feel the need to.
And for his listeners, let me tell you, he still doesn't find me attractive.
No, I didn't find him attractive. In fact, I was confused by that because I'm like, wait a minute, I'm in bed with a dude, and I don't find him attractive at all. What's wrong with me? I did not know because I knew that Now, I knew in high school, we went to the same high school. We went to Sam Houston Senior High School in Houston, Texas, the largest high school in the state at the time. I think it still is.
I don't think it's there anymore.
I don't think it's there. I think they might have broken it up because it was a huge school. I mean, the school was huge. And so, we used to hang out together all the time and everything else. And I knew that I was in love with one of the football players because he and I used to hang out together all the time. But he only hung out with me because he just needed good grades. We weren't like really good friends. Although,
so guys, basically what Joel's saying is Joel was a nerd back in high school. He was like the smart one in the group, and I was not the smart one. I was just the.
He was a geek. He wasn't a nerd. There's a difference between nerds and geeks.
Well, yeah, but I wasn't. I was far from that. I wasn't an athletic person. I wasn't a geek. I wasn't a nerd.
You were just awkward.
I was just that motherfucker.
Yeah, you were just
kind
awkward.
of fucking did whatever.
Yeah,
and
you were super awkward.
There you go. Yeah,
yeah, you were super awkward.
Yeah,
but you did introduce me to a bunch of the other awkward kids who turned out to be like super smart that I liked hanging out with, and we would play chess and all kinds of stuff.
Nerd power.
So yeah, so you did introduce me to those people, and you spent more time trying to chase girls.
I did because back in those days, I was horny. That's basically what that's called.
Yeah, exactly. I have to say I was confused by a conversation that we had one time, and you have to remember that I'm not saying that he's not now. I don't know what that's going on with that, but his parents were Jehovah's Witnesses at the time, and I remember a very
one of my parents were Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yes, one of yours. The other one was
racist. Let's just call a spade a spade. That's what he was. He called me a spade a lot. He called me a spade a lot. I'm laughing about it now. Let me tell you how some millennials and Gen Zers. Yeah, I had no choice but to laugh about it at the time. So that's what I did. But let me say this. We ended up having a very good relationship, and we had a good time together. So that's that. But the thing is that what I really wanted to break up was the one time, and I think we talked about it one time, and it was the most uncomfortable conversation John Floyd and I ever had. I think we talked about masturbation one time because I asked him, I think, and I recall this, and John, I think he knew how naive and dumb I was. I mean, I was super smart when it comes to a lot of stuff, but when it came to certain things, life, I used to hear the term jack off all the time. I used to hear the guys talking about jacking off and all this other stuff, and I had to ask John what it was. I was 15 years old. I did not know what jacking off was. And if I remember correctly, I think that was a conversation we had. I think that was the conversation we had on the way to school, walking on the railroad tracks.
Yeah, because
which if your listeners can understand, two 15-year-old kids at like 7:30 in the morning, walking down railroad tracks, having a conversation about jacking off.
Which was a weird...
Go with it.
Yeah, go with it because, one, I didn't know what it was. I honestly did not know what jacking off was. I had heard all the boys talking about it and everything else. And I think at this point I had known John for about a month, I think. I think I've known you about a month. And
what a great first month conversation.
I know. But I didn't have anybody else to talk to. I mean, no one in my family... You know, when I heard the masturbation talk, John, I was 18. My dad finally had the conversation I was 18.
And that's where you should have told your dad, Dad, it's okay. John already
That's
told
exactly
me.
what I told him. I said, Dad, I already know this.
John talked to me about it.
I know.
Don't worry.
I had to get, because like I said, I had heard all the guys talking about jacking off, and then they would look at me and go, so you know about it, right? And I'm like, yeah, I know what it is. I know what that is. I don't know what that is.
Right.
I really did not know what that is. So I could tell, and I remember this so thoroughly. It was funny. I remember we were walking down the railroad tracks, and we were talking about, we were talking about all kinds of stuff. And it literally said out loud, John, What is jacking off? And you just stared at me for like 3 minutes. You literally
Yeah,
stared
because
at
I
me.
couldn't believe a motherfucker was asking me what the fuck that was.
I know. I asked him what jacking off was because I felt like we were comfortable with each other. It'd been a month. I mean, you literally had walked up to me out of the blue and started a conversation on my first day of school. So I felt like after a month we were comfortable.
It was my first day of school too, sir.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So, I mean, but it was my first day of school in Texas for the first time, and I didn't know anyone. I barely knew how to get. We drove the first week. My dad drove me to the school to show me how to get there.
Then he was like, "Okay, motherfucker, you walking?"
Okay, yeah, exactly. Then he's like, "Oh, you can walk because you have to walk your sister to school because her elementary school was on the way." So, wait, I don't think my sister. No, my sister was born at the time. Yeah. So I had to walk my sister to school every morning, and he's like, "Well, it's on the way, so you can walk." And I'm like, "Okay, I'll walk." And so here we go. I'm walking.
Well, that's better than what my dad did to me. My dad was like, "Okay, I'm not taking your ass to school. Walk." I'm like, "Okay."
Okay, but you were only like what? 5 blocks from school, even with the
Doesn't
railroad
matter.
track.
Like they would make me walk to school when it would be cold, and I had two nieces, and one of them, Susan, went to the same high school. So on the days when
I remember Susan.
On the days when it was cold, they would get a ride to school, and I'd have to walk.
You know
I'm
what?
like, ain't that a bitch?
I forgot about Susan. I think I tried to date Susan. Didn't I try to date Susan?
Susan's a slut. Don't worry.
I think I tried to date Susan, but there was this whole black-white thing.
And guys, that's the nicest thing I can say about her. That's bad when the nicest thing you can say about somebody is that they're a slut.
Well, Susan was the one who told me that I was gay.
Susan is a slut. I'm just telling you.
Okay, you're literally saying this on the air. Are you sure you want to say that Susan is what is Susan?
Well, let's be honest.
Susan is 40-something years old now.
Let's be honest. None of your listeners know who the fuck Susan is, so it doesn't matter. I'm not slandering her or anything because she ain't listening to this shit.
Wouldn't it be funny if she was like, I would get on my Facebook page, "Hey Joel, this is Susan,
How come
John's cousin, and he called me a slut." He called me a slut.
And your response should be, "Well, if the shoe fits."
Actually, my first response would be, "Who the fuck are you?"
Exactly.
Because I completely forgot about Susan until you said something, and then
guys, I'm gonna be honest and tell you, I don't disrespect women at all, but Susan, if you guys knew Susan like Joel and I know Susan, she was a slut.
But Susan told me I was gay.
Well, she probably knew before I
Susan,
did.
Yeah, Susan told me I was gay.
I think it's called gaydar.
Is it called gaydar?
I
just think,
I don't
you know what? I just think women, unless they're really
Women know.
I think women know.
Women know.
Yeah, exactly. I think women know.
Oh, they really know.
Yeah, because I told her that I wanted to date her, and she goes, "Why? You're gay." And I'm like,
it's
wait,
kind of
what?
It's kind of like the women know thing. It's kind of like I'll paint a picture. So you have a man and a woman. They have a really great relationship and everything. They're drinking wine and cocktails, and they have cooking parties, and they have all this stuff.
Are you
right?
explaining the facts of life to adults?
No. Listen. And then you have that moment where the man and the woman, they're in the shower, they're taking a shower, they're being all romantic and everything. And then the woman just automatically comes up and says, "So, who's Susan?" Right? It's like they know shit. Like they know shit that guys think that they don't know, but they do know. And they have the most inopportune time to us, but to them, it's the perfect time to just kind of bust your bubble and say, "So, in this romantic moment that we have going on, who's Susan?"
Well, I don't think you know what inopportune moments are, except for when you
For men.
Well,
Because
well, you mean straight men?
any man, gay or straight, doesn't matter. If you're in if you're in the shower with your boyfriend or your husband or whatever, right? And you're having a glass of wine, same scenario, right? And you think everything is great, but then your husband comes up and says, "So, Joel, who's Brad?" Right? To you, it's an inopportune moment because you're sharing a shower, a glass of wine, right?
An intimate moment.
Right. But to them, it's the perfect moment to bust whatever bubble you got going on.
I think, okay, first of all, so let's say it from 2 points of view. Okay, from the heterosexual point of view, for you to get asked that while you're at an intimate moment in the shower where you're scrubbing each other's body,
means you're fucked.
Yeah, you're pretty fucked when the woman whose soap that you put on her back and everything else, and she turns around and looks at you and goes, "So who's Susan?"
Exactly.
But for me, I think when a gay dude does the same thing, I think it's, first of all, I don't know if we would have made it to the shower. I think the question would have been asked before the shower. And in some gay dudes' mind, probably more mine than his, and I'm going to be honest, it would probably be more on the lines of, so, well, can we invite him in the shower? Is that why you're asking? Because I'm okay with it, if you're okay with it. So I think it might be a little bit different. Not much. I mean, I think that both sides believe in monogamy on a certain level. On a certain level, I think monogamy is an important thing, I guess, if you're that kind of, if you're into that. But I think when you're young, not so much. I mean, you want to have fun, and the last thing you want to do is like have to answer why you were talking about some other person while you're in the shower.
Well, yeah, but
unless they plan on joining you.
Well, no, but you have to understand. See, Joel, you're taking it to a whole nother extreme.
Oh, I don't think it's an extreme. I mean,
but you have to understand that not everybody's interested in a threesome. You know, some people are just interested in monogamy, right? And if you're involved with somebody and you have something good, or you have the belief that you have something good, and then your partner comes up and says, "So, who's Brad?" and stuff like that. You know, it's all about the question, and it's all about, more importantly, the response. Because whatever you say after they ask who's Brad or who's Susan or whatever, your response is either going to dictate whether you have a continuing relationship or whether shit starts getting thrown at you. Let's be honest.
Okay. I will say this from Houston, Texas. I will say this. If someone in the gay community who I'm dating were to ask me who is Brad, I will literally turn around and go,
B-Rad.
You know who Brad is. You had sex with him before I met you too. So we both know who Brad is. So I don't even know why you asking me that, because we both know who Brad is.
B-Rad.
But I guess when you're heterosexual and the woman turns to you and says, "Well, who's Susan?"
There's no way out of that question.
It's a much larger community, and I think there's a different response.
And I'm glad you brought up the heterosexual part, because for your listeners, understand that if you are a heterosexual man and your woman is in the shower with you and stuff like that, and y'all are having wine, and she comes up to you and says or asks, "Who's Susan?" From the male perspective, there is not a thing you as a male can say, because the minute she asked who's Susan
in the shower with a glass of wine,
you're fucked. Because if you say, "Oh, she's a friend,"
in the shower with a glass of wine,
then your woman's going to come back and say, "Oh, so why is she texting you?" Right?
In the shower with a glass of wine.
If you say, "I don't know who Susan is," then your ex or your woman, your soon-to-be ex, is going to go to your phone and she's going to be like, "Okay, so you see all these text messages? So who?" So like I tell people, I'm like, if you're in that situation and your woman asks you about another woman, there's really not a thing you can say that is going to save you, because you are fucked no matter what you say.
I have a question to ask. I really think this is an important question. What phone are you using that she can bring the phone into the shower and ask you who it is in a shower, I'm not
saying that. I'm saying
with steam and water all over the place.
I'm saying depending on your answer. If you say you don't know who Susan is, then she can go get the phone and hold it outside the curtain and stuff like that, and show you every fucking text message that Susan sent you.
Okay.
And every response that you sent her. So then she can come back and say, So if you don't know who this person is, why are you communicating with this person?
So I want to say, you know what? I'm going to post this on my Facebook page, because I think it's very important to post this on my Facebook page. Let me take a breath. And like I said, if you can hear the wheezing in the back of my lungs, please do not worry. It is not COVID. It is a lung infection. How many women out there jump into the shower with their man and then ask, who's Susan? In the shower with a glass of wine. By the way, Floyd, I want to understand, how do you have a glass of wine in the shower? Do you drink a red wine in the shower? What if she wanted a white wine with some ice? I mean, in the shower. I mean, I can understand a bath together, but in the shower?
Well, I mean, it doesn't have to be a shower. It could be a bath, shower, whatever, right? Whatever intimate setting you guys are in, that is the woman's opportune time to ask you about whatever questions they have regarding the relationship. That's when they do it.
You realize that that's also the opportune time that a woman can drop a toaster into the water and you're done for.
No, but they're not going to kill themselves. I mean, they're not going.
Well, it depends on the woman. If she can't have you, nobody else is.
Well, that's true.
And she's going out with you.
That's what I tell people. It's like you know. And it goes back to, just if you're going to be in a relationship, just be, honestly, just be committed, or just be upfront in the beginning. You go out to a bar or a club or something like that, and you meet a female and stuff like that, and she comes up and says, well, I don't want a relationship. I just want to fuck. Okay. You have to there's nothing you can do but respect what she's saying, because she's being upfront and she's being honest with you. And if guys, straight or gay, would do the same thing, it would cause a lot less issues.
I don't think, you know what, here's the problem. I don't think gay guys have a problem with that. I don't think gay guys have a problem with saying up front, hey, look, I just want the D, so nothing's going to happen with that.
I agree. I think that's more.
I don't think gay guys have a problem with that.
I think that's more a heterosexual type
deal.
But
I don't think gay guys have a problem with that. I think what gay guys have a problem with is the fact that they are not. Here's the thing. Either they are. I think gay guys can sometimes be too honest. They either just want the D, or I've been in situations where I have met a guy and we were having a good time and everything else, and he's like, so, what do you think of marriage and having kids and everything else? And you're like, okay, I don't really know what to think since we met half an hour ago. Right. So I don't.
So they kind of rush. They kind of rush everything.
I don't feel the need that I should be answering that question because we met half an hour ago.
Right.
I'm still trying to process your name at this point.
Right.
I'm not wondering what kind of house we're going to buy and what china pattern we're going to have. And
see, give your listeners a little background or a little backstory on me. I don't want to say I was wild.
He was a hoe.
But I dated a lot.
He was a hoe.
I dated a lot. I don't want to say a hoe because a hoe.
He was a hoe. I lived with him. He was a hoe.
A hoe just makes me look bad.
He was a hoe. He was a hoe named Devontae Swing. He was a hoe.
I was. I'm not.
Oh
and,
my
and,
God.
and let me give y'all the backstory on Devontae Swing.
We don't need a backstory. I think we all know.
No, because I don't think your listeners. I don't think your listeners know who Devontae Swing was. So there was a band called Jodeci. If you guys go back that far, and one of the central persons, like he was a producer, the executive producer. He was like the main guy, but he didn't sing. He was like a background singer, but he was the one that wrote all their songs. He produced, he executive produced, he did everything, right? And his name was Devontae Swing. And back in those times, there was
Which was the 90s.
A lot of my friends, like late 80s, early 90s.
No, it was 92.
Early 90s.
It was 92.
Early 90s.
I remember.
So a lot of my friends that lived in the neighborhood that we lived in would go out to these little clubs and stuff like that. And, you know, they'd meet a lot of these younger, underage girls who were allowed to come in. They were like literally 16 years old, but they pretended to be 18 or 19. And they'd meet my friends and stuff like that. My friends would take them home, fuck them and stuff like that. And then the girl would, you know, come to find out, her parents would find out that, you know, that somebody that was 22, 23 years old fucked a 15, 16-year-old girl. And, you know, there'd be court cases and stuff like that. So I would tell my friends, I'm like, guys, when you go out to the bar and the club, you don't use your real name. You use an alias, right?
John.
If you're going to do that. Hold on. If you're going to do that. So I never did that, but my alias or my club name back then was Devontae Swing.
Okay. First of all, I want to tell the audience something right now. That was 1992, 1993. It was a different time.
Early 90s.
It was a different time.
Well, and no, but
I don't want you to get hit because you just literally told the story of 22-year-old men having sex with 15-year-old girls.
No, but it wasn't. It was.
I know,
and
but
they
were
got
in the club,
and they got in trouble for that.
Yeah, they were in a club that they weren't supposed to be in. They used fake IDs because you know they wanted to be adults. We have cracked down on that since then. You know, back
of course. This was
back
like
in the day.
This was 30 years ago. This was like, but this was what was going on back in the day.
Back in the day. Let's remind the audience. It was back in the day.
Back in the day, yes.
If a 15-year-old is trying to get into a club now, that club will be closed down in a heartbeat. Exactly.
I mean, things are so much better when it comes to that now.
And by the way, I could tell you stories from my friends who are my age now, who got into the gay bars when they were 15, 16 years old. So I could tell you stories. It goes on both sides. I could tell you stories. They used to tell me stories when they were 15, 16 and used to get into the gay bars and would have sex with adult men. So I can tell you it goes both ways. It does go both ways. So nobody come down hard on anybody.
Right.
In this world, in this room.
Right.
Because that was 30 years ago.
Right.
But I can guarantee you, every man over 50 can tell you how he used to get into the gay bar. Except for me, I could never get into a gay bar when I was 15 to 16. They would always try to be
because you
around.
weren't gay when you were 15, 16 years old.
Oh, no, I was gay. I used to hang out and you don't remember when Westheimer...
You just didn't know, right?
When Westheimer used to be the shit. In Houston, Texas, there was always this one drag strip. Now, those of you who live in California and New York, yeah, we get it. You're super sophisticated, blah, 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 blah. But in Houston, the teenagers on the weekends used to go out to my Westheimer and drive their cars up and down, and they would shout and scream and have a good time, and they would get into bars and they get drunk and all this other stuff. That's what they used to do. So this happened a lot more than you think. Now things have gotten better, and by the way, those people who are 50 now, but who were 16, 17 years old at the time, they made sure y'all can't get. Yeah, they made sure 16 and 17-year-olds can't do that now. So we all good on that. I just want to explain. I know what kind of society we live in. I know what kind of cancel culture that we have. I know everybody's woke and all this other stuff. So when we're telling stories from the past, and this shit happened.
It did.
This shit happened. And this is real to the real. This shit happened.
And thank the Lord that we
have evolved.
We have. We have. We've matured. We've evolved and stuff like that.
All those stories about people having sex with their teachers. That was a big thing. Everybody wanted to have sex with their teachers when we were young.
There was a high school back in that time. Nimitz High School on the north side of Houston was notorious for. It seemed like every week there was some kind of scandal going on in that high school regarding students and teachers and stuff like that. It was crazy.
It was crazy. So
it was crazy.
It happened back in. It happened back in the. Ask your parents. Ask your parents because it happened. It happened. They are. Ask your parents because your parents were the ones who fucked it up for you. They pretty much fucked it up for you. They were the ones. I remember going into a bar when I was 15. Now I didn't go to a gay bar. I just went into a regular bar when I was 15 because I had a fake ID, and I don't even know how because I was skinny as a rail, and I knew you could look at me and thought I was 12.
I think every person, except me, like I wasn't really, when I was 15, 16, 17 years old, I wasn't really, I wasn't really trying to be out there. It's like, I mean, the only reason why I moved out of my mom's house was because my mom at the age of 18 told me, when I was 18, that I had to be home by 10 o'clock. And I was working and I was going to school and stuff like that. And I remember her telling me that if you don't like my rules, you can move. And I was like, okay, bye.
Okay.
And that's when I moved out to Greenspoint. When I moved out to Greenspoint, I was 18 years old. I didn't know shit about Greenspoint.
And at 18, my parents couldn't get me out of the house.
I couldn't wait to get out of the house.
I was laying up, having a good time, doing my thing. And, I had my PlayStation 1, and I was fine with just sitting at home playing video games all day. When are you going to get a job? Oh, I don't know. Whenever I feel like it. So after about a couple of years.
So that's when your dad put you to work as a mattress man.
No. So after a couple of years, they were like, okay, you got to go.
Or you can stay here and work in the factory.
Which I said, nope. And I was out. I was out. So it was a different time. And I can guarantee you, millennials and Gen Zers, you're going to tell the same story.
We'll never understand.
You're going to tell us, y'all have TikTok and all this other stuff. Y'all going to be telling some ridiculous stories.
You know how we used to text? For all you millennials and everything, you know how we used to text? We used to write down on a piece of paper, check yes or no. And then we would fold it up and we would send it to like 8 different school kids in our class. And there'd be a really hot girl in the front seat and you're in the back and there's 6 people in between both of you and you would write down all this stuff on a piece of paper, fold it up real nice and pretty and you put little hearts on it and everything and then you would literally pass it from one person to the next until it got to that girl. So that's how we text. So you guys did millennials and everything, you guys came after cell phones were invented. I wish you guys would have been around before cell phones were invented, and you understood, or you would understand where, how we've evolved as a society with regards to communication and texting and stuff like that. It's so. Back in the late 80s, early 90s, compared to now, it's 100 years.
It is.
It really is.
Can I tell you this, John? You know when I first learned to text? When we had beepers. Remember beepers?
Oh, you guys don't even remember beepers.
Beepers. Oh, my God. Beepers were...
Everybody wanted a Motorola.
Everybody wanted a Motorola beeper. It was the coolest thing.
Motorola beepers back then were the equivalent of anything Apple.
Yeah, exactly. Motorola beepers. My God. It's like, oh, my God, look at this. My friend is calling. Let me find a payphone. Payphone. That's another one. Millennials.
When was the last time you saw a payphone?
I don't even think. You know what, John?
I'm sorry. Let me give you the definition of a payphone. You have to put money in it in order to use it.
Okay. First of all, John, I don't even remember what a payphone was. When you go to a convenience store and you see that little box with the phone thing hanging off of it, and you're like, oh, my God, Is that a payphone? That's a payphone. I haven't seen a payphone in 20 years. Look at that.
And you know what, guys? You know what? I'm gonna put this out there for whoever's listening. If you come across a payphone, can you please take a picture of it and send it to that gay little talk show?
That little gay talk show. Send it to me.
For Joe.
Send it to me. I can tell you right now. You know, the wonderful thing, about still seeing a payphone every now and then is that I will literally stick a quarter in it and see if I can remember anybody's phone number. Because back in the day, I remembered everybody's phone number. If you told me your phone number, I would write it down, and then suddenly it would become part of my memory.
I knew your
phone number.
Honestly, whenever I see a payphone, I just stick my finger in the bottom to see if there's any.
I know. You see if there's any still the same habits. Always looking to see if there's. And I have found a couple of quarters in there at one time.
If I can find $2 in there, I'm happy. I'm like, bro. I feel like I won the lottery.
One time back in the old days, I got stranded. You know what, John? I realized something. Most of my 90s, I spent stranded somewhere. I was stranded somewhere. I would go someplace and realize, oh my God, I don't have enough bus fare to get home. I'm gonna have to walk home. And I have walked miles and miles. And
I
miles
remember. I remember.
I'm not talking about just that one incident, but I have had to walk.
That was the funniest one, though.
I know. But I have had to walk miles and miles. And I remember walking up to a payphone. And back at that time, I think you needed 75 cents to ride the bus. I remember walking up to I walked 10 miles at that point, and I was exhausted. My beeper wasn't working because the batteries went dead. I couldn't I didn't have enough money to get to a payphone. I had a quarter in my pocket, and nobody was at home. So I walked up to a payphone, and there was 75 cents. And I got on the bus, and I was the happiest. It had air conditioning. And by the way, you could smoke on the bus. Of course,
back then.
I wasn't smoking. I was 15, so I wasn't smoking.
But Joel's telling you guys a story of how loose everything was back then. Like, you could smoke on the bus. You could do, you can't do none of that shit now.
I know. You don't know how many times on the bus I have had my dick grabbed on the bus. So many times on the bus.
Well, I've never had that happen.
It has happened to me so many times on the bus. Maybe I had those come hither eyes. I have no idea. Maybe I just had the look of dick on my face.
Maybe you just had that look of longing.
Exactly. And men would just sit on. And oh, by the way, I used to also wear those super shorty shorts.
I never did.
Well, we were in gym class. Yes, you did.
I did?
Yes, we all wore the shorty shorts.
I think I used to skip gym because it's like...
we all skipped... Oh, I remember that. We all skipped gym. We would go play chess. Because none of us... And you know what? The funny thing is, here I am sitting around with a bunch of white nerds at the time, and they all said the same thing. You can't play basketball? No, I can't play basketball. Why am I sitting here playing... I don't know how to play basketball.
Joel learned about stereotypes at a young age.
I did. And I was like, so here I am sitting around talking to these guys about comic books and everything else. And we're sitting in gym class and they ask me why I can't play basketball. Why can't you play basketball?
Exactly.
I don't know how to play basketball. I'm sitting here with you guys. Good Lord. So yes, I did learn about stereotypes quite early. You guys, like I said, I have had to put up with so much when I was younger. And, I enjoyed it when I was younger. Now I can understand why everybody might be so tired. Sometimes, Floyd, I wake up in the morning and the first thing I do is look at my phone and it's like, oh, Lord, what racist Karen said something today. Good Lord, here we go. Karen has done something stupid today.
You talking about the white lady's Karen?
Oh, good Lord, there's so many Karens.
Oh my God,
there's so many Karens right now.
Guys, just and Joel's kind of like segueing into.
Oh, I'm not segueing into anything. I'm literally tired of all the Karens I wake up to every morning.
And that's the beauty of my show, because my show covers all of this shit. Like, I go off on everybody. I'm not pro-liberal. I'm not pro-right. I'm just like, look, if you fucked up, I'm going to call you out on it. I don't give a shit if you're a Democrat or a Republican or an independent.
Mm-hmm.
If you do some stupid fucking shit, I'm going to be the first one to tell you that was some stupid fucking shit.
I can tell you right now, there's so much. And like I said, I'd like to, and you know what it boils down to, Floyd, John? It's all about, I'm sorry, I keep calling, by the way, and he hates this.
I do.
I used to call him Floyd.
With a passion.
When we were younger, I used to call him Floyd when I would be mad at him. Just like your parents would call you by your first, middle, and last name.
Yes, Lord Jesus.
Lord Jesus. It's like Joel Allen Tatum. I'm like, oh, Lord, what did I do there?
Exactly.
So when I would walk up to John and go, Floyd, and he'd be like, oh, God damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it still remains. And, I call
because now we're in our 50s.
Uh-huh. And so when I call him Floyd, he knows I'm made.
So I try to get him to not be calling me that. Like, my name is John. For all your listeners.
His name is John Floyd.
I am John Floyd.
He is John Floyd.
Yes. And my show.
And Floyd is his name, but it's his last name, and I should not call him by his surname.
My show is the H-Town Spin with John Floyd.
Okay.
So
he's going to talk about that now.
So I'm going to give you guys a little rundown of what my show is going to consist of. It's going to be an hour-long segment every Thursday starting at 8 p.m. We will be having guests here and there, but basically it's going to be a stylish take on the hottest topics going on in the country. And in the city, since we are a Houston-based show, so we are definitely going to cover Houston topics, but we're also going to delve into the nationwide political landscape, just anything basically that's going on and how it affects you here in Houston with a common sense approach. So it's not going to be a far left or a far right or anything like that. It's not going to be, this is not going to be Rush Limbaugh 3.0 or anything like that. It's basically just going to be me with an awful lot of common sense, pretty much dissecting the hottest topics and just really trying to get my listeners to make sense of the chaos that's going on in the world.
Rush Limbaugh 3.0.
Well, Rush Limbaugh.
He does not deserve an upgrade.
No, I'm just saying, but Rush Limbaugh is. I'm saying me. I would be the upgrade, but Rush Limbaugh is pure right, and he is trash. Like honestly, like the things that he says and stuff like that is, he's a racist and stuff like that. So it's one of those things where I don't want to be that. I want to be more of a common sense. Like, hey guys. Here's what this person said. Here's what this person says. Now, because both of those don't make sense, I'm going to make sense for you. And you decide based on the information I give you, the facts that I give you, you decide where you go. Are you left? Are you right? Or are you pretty much in the middle?
Well,
and I think based on...
I don't think facts has a side. I think facts are... Well, facts.
Well, but what's happening now is you have a lot of people.
What you're talking about is a spin from either side when it comes to the facts, but facts are pretty much
debate. That's debatable because
is that really debatable? Because I don't think that. I mean,
and here's the reason
something
why,
that's a fact shouldn't be even.
But here's the reason why I say it's debatable, because when you have a reputable news source. Like a CNN, a Fox News, or MSNBC, NBC News, ABC, CBS, whatever, right? And those news sources present the facts, but the person they're presenting the facts about, like, say, the president, the president will get on stage and say...
this is going to be his thing, by the way.
No, the president's going to say something such as, well, it's a hoax, or CBS is fake news.
Or drink some bleach.
Or drink, right. Because the minute, and every single person in the globe heard him say that. But depending on who you ask,
By the way, he said it was a joke.
Exactly.
In the middle of a pandemic.
Exactly. But
with fervent followers who think he's the
Exactly.
Jesus incarnate or something.
Exactly. So what I'm saying to you, so to bring up your point when you said, well, facts are facts. Yes, everybody in the globe heard him say that. But it depends on who you ask, because they'll say, well, no, I was joking. I didn't really say that. I didn't really mean that. And so now you have 80 million people that's like, well, yeah, he said it, but he didn't mean it. Right? So there's a distortion of the facts. There's the facts, and then there's what people want to listen to, whether left or right, or it doesn't matter.
He said it, but whether or not you believe it is truly up to you, I guess. But that's the fact of the matter is that he said it.
Right. So with my show, what I do is I take those facts and then I present it to you in a common sense manner. And I'm hoping, the hope is that whether you're left or you're right, your common sense will take over and be like, oh, you know what? I never looked at it like that. I never looked at it from that angle.
You're really hoping that your show.
I am. And guys, check this out. You hear that? That's not nobody knocking on the door. That's me knocking on wood.
Okay. So I would like to say that your optimism, I mean, I'm looking at the clock going, it's 7:30. We might have to make a liquor store run because his optimism. I'm good. He is optimistic about, wow.
I'm good, but and we're not just going to cover a topic like that. We're going to cover pretty much every topic. We're also going to talk about topics that affect the city of Houston, because because our show is based here in Houston. It's, I definitely want to give an ear to Houston. I want to give Houston a lot of love and a lot of support and a lot of attention on the things that's happening here in the city that are wrong, that should not be happening.
So I want to throw this out here, since we are talking about the city of Houston, which is a city I love. I love this city. I think it's a great city, regardless of what a lot of people think. And I've had to deal with all kinds of people saying it's dirty, it's this, it's that, blah, 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 blah. I get it. But I love this city because I love the people in this city. But at the same time, let me remind you of a couple of things. My lovable Houstonians, my great Houstonians, wash your hands 6 feet and put that goddamn mask on and stop arguing with us about it.
Yes. Guys,
we were doing fine up until this point. I don't understand this. We were doing just fine. We were social distancing. We were doing all this stuff. And then a few people decided that because they were tired of being at home. No. This is now. I believe this to be true, and I'm gonna say this because a couple of people decided that they were sick and tired of being home, decided to take their AK-47s and their rocket launchers and everything else to their state capitals, and say that this is all a fake while they're wearing masks and hazmat suits and all this other stuff, and telling people that you don't have to wear a mask. This is ridiculous. Blah 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 blah. So here we are. We are COVID capital. I have seen a lot of you out there, and by the way, I have also made that mistake myself. I'm not gonna sit here and act like a hypocrite. I have also been like, oh my God, we're a little bit freer. I don't have to wear a mask to the grocery store.
You do have to wear a mask.
Okay, well that was before all of this. Okay, I don't have to wear a mask. Okay, I forgot my mask at home. I think I can make it through because I'm only just picking up a couple of things and I'm out. I did social distance and I did wash my hands and I did all that stuff. I tried to do as much as I possibly could, but to see people fighting, when I literally have to tell you to put a mask on, when you walk into where's your mask? It is my constitutional right not to wear. Okay, you know what?
And I'm gonna be honest with you. Look,
hold on. Let me finish this. Let me say this because I have been wanting to say this for quite some time. I work in a business. I work in a business that has signs all over the doors about what you can and cannot do when you come into that place. No socks, no shoes, you can't come in. We reserve the right to refuse service at any time. You have to follow the rules when you are drinking at the bar. You have to follow the rules when you are sitting at a table. You have to follow all these rules. These are rules that you've had to follow for. And yeah, I ain't said a goddamn word about all these rules before. So when we say, can you please wear a mask when you come in? Because I have to wear a mask when I come into work every day. I have to put on a mask. So when I ask you, could you please wear a mask when you come into the door, and you try to fight me on it and tell me it's your constitutional right not to have to, I'm going to have to ask you to explain why all those other signs on the door with all the rules on the door when you came in, you have to follow, but you don't have to follow the one rule that I... Seriously.
Yeah, and the sad part is you have all these people now that are talking about civil liberties, blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. I'm like, guys, look, we've known about this since November of 2019. Mm-hmm. Okay? Nothing's been done. We got the numbers down in late April, middle of May, but we didn't have the virus under control. Mm-hmm. We got the numbers down, but it wasn't under control. The reason why I say it wasn't under control is because the minute we were allowed to open at 75%, everything went back up, right? But, so if it was controlled, if the virus was controlled back before the governor...
I will tell you this. We were open. The only reason that we were open up at 75%, and this is in most red states, the reason why we were open up back up at 75% is because, like I said, everybody decided that they were sick and tired of sitting at home, got their AK-47s and their rocket launchers, decided to go to the Capitol and protest so they can get their hair did.
So I have a question for all the people that wanted the state reopened. My question is, are y'all happy? Because of you, our governor caved into peer pressure instead of science and data, and he opened too soon. And now guess where we are, guys? We're scaling back everything. So now you guys are even more pissed because now, back in May, we weren't making you wear a mask. Now you're made to wear a mask. Mm-hmm. So now you guys that's crying about your civil liberties and stuff like that, and the government can't tell me what to do. They weren't telling you what to do back in May. And you guys were allowed to just do whatever you wanted to do. Mm-hmm. You guys went to bars and clubs. You guys danced on people. Not one of you were wearing masks. Not one of you were 6 feet apart, right? And the cases have spiked. So now Governor Abbott, as of today, made an executive order that if you are going to be out in public in a building or anything like that, you have to wear a mask. So now you guys are really pissed off. But the bottom line is you guys shouldn't be pissed off at the governor. You shouldn't be pissed off at the political leaders. You should be pissed off at yourself because you guys did not do what you should have done back in April and May to make sure that this type of thing doesn't happen. It's your fault.
Do you think I like sitting in the house for 2 months?
I don't either. I didn't either.
I didn't like sitting in the house for 2 months.
I didn't either.
I hated it.
But guess what, guys? I didn't like staying home for 2 months, but every time I went out, I wore a fucking mask, right? How do I like it? No, I don't like it. I can ask a million fucking people if they like wearing a mask, and a million fucking people are going to say, no, I don't like wearing a mask. But guess what? As you know, and if you guys don't know, Joel, I believe firmly back in January, February, had COVID-19 because he was in the hospital with a severe respiratory issue, right? I am blessed that I've never had that because I've taken the necessary precautions that I need to take to ensure that I don't get sick. And by the grace of God, I'm not sick, and I've never had any symptom or anything. But I can't say that for everybody. But, and I'm not saying Joel got it because he wasn't wearing a mask or because he wasn't social distancing. You know, however he got it, that's, you know, unfortunate for him. But I'm glad that he's alive because if you looked at the pictures that he posted on his Facebook, he looked like he was near death. So it is real. So when you have a president or a person in power saying that it's a hoax and stuff like that, I can give you example after example after example of people that have had it, and they will all tell you this shit ain't no joke.
I think now, I can really tell you now from being on social media a lot, because even before, while I was in quarantine, it was more of a hoax back then than it is now. I think people are really starting to understand it is not a hoax. I don't understand why it took this long. My brother did post from the hospital bed daily, when he was in the hospital with COVID, daily. So, and still people were like, "Oh, it's a hoax." No, it's not a hoax.
Well,
it's not a hoax.
And the reason why they're saying it's a hoax is because the guy that is pretending to be president, and I'll be the first one to tell you he's pretending to be president, is going around and telling people it's a hoax. And they're following him and they're listening to him. And I'm like, this guy is going to do nothing but get you guys sick. And there's not going to be any help for you after that, because he's trying.
To see all these young people out here running around having COVID parties.
Yeah, it's like
getting COVID on purpose.
Like, I mean,
not thinking about the fact that as soon as they get home, and their parents who are older, and their grandparents, and and little kids, and everybody else, they don't give a shit. Makes me angry.
I will tell you guys this. I will tell you guys one thing. I do believe that the governor's response to this has cost him the election. I do believe, and I don't know this for sure. But I would not be surprised if Judge Hidalgo runs for governor and wins in a landslide. Because right now, everybody loves Lena Hidalgo. They do.
I love her.
They do. I'm
like her biggest fan.
I'm serious. And the reason why I like Lena Hidalgo is the simple fact that she is a Democrat, but not even about the political party. She doesn't care what political party you are.
You know what? She's the only politician that I know who could care less if she loses the next election. She could care less.
Because her job is to take care of the people of Harris County.
I really wish that every politician out there was more like her, who didn't give a shit about their political future and gave a shit about the people that they represent.
Absolutely.
So I admire Lynn, and she is only 29 years old?
She's 29 years old. She is Stanford graduated.
She's got a long political career. I think she is. If she doesn't make it to governor someday, she will be.
She could
be the first Hispanic president.
I definitely think that with the governor opening too soon and then have to scaling back and
this woman told him. Yeah, I think it's a little too soon. And then this is a governor, by the way, who decided to take all the power out of the cities,
and
the counties, because
leave it up to him, because he wanted the full power.
He wanted the full power, like some kind of dictator or whatever. What the fuck?
Who does that sound like?
Y'all talking about taking freedoms away from this and that and blah. You have a governor that is basically the dictator of Texas.
Who do you think he sounds like?
Yeah, exactly.
I give you guys a hint. There's a guy in Washington with orange hair that is the same exact way.
I don't know who's worse, the lieutenant governor or him.
Dan Patrick. Doesn't
the lieutenant governor, though, have a little bit more power than he does?
No. I will tell you this. Dan Patrick, if you guys don't know, used to be the sports director at KHOU.
I know, right?
Channel 11, right here on Island Parkway. And I used to follow him explicitly. I used to love Dan Patrick because he knew his shit when it came to sports. But ever since that dumbass got into politics, he is a dumbass. I'm not lying. When you go on Fox News and you tell Fox News, because he won't go on MSNBC and CBS and ABC, he won't do that. He'll only go to Fox. And he says,
that's where they all go.
And he says, I don't believe anything that Dr. Fauci tells me. Or you make a comment that, the economy is worth dying for, or something along those lines. I just can't say anything. I was like,
all I can say is I'm women of color. You doing your shit. Y'all are doing. Y'all are doing your shit. Women of color. I have to admit, women.
And
we need more women of color in power.
And
because
people complain, and it's the dumbest complaint ever. People complain that Joe Biden is 77 years old.
He is 77 years old. I'm complaining that he's 77 years old.
Hold on.
But
let me tell you. Hold on.
But John, we need
old Donald in office is 74. So Donald's right behind him, and Donald's probably more crazier than fucking Joe Biden.
Okay, but before we take a break, because we're going to take a break here, because my ass is starting to hurt, because I've sat in this chair for God knows how long.
Okay, I don't need to hear all that.
Okay, but my ass hurts. We've been sitting in this chair for God knows how long.
You've been sitting in that chair, not me.
And I need, you know what? I need to put this out here because I need to say this. We're going to take a bit of a break. But before we take a little bit of a break, I want to thank my sponsor for the show, which is 2V's Woodworking. 2V's Woodworking. If you need wood, he's got wood. Trust me. If you need wood, he has got wood. If you want to know more, go to my Facebook page and I will explain more. But 2V's Woodworking, you can find him on his Facebook page. You can find him on Pinterest if you want to order some wood products. Like I said, he made me a fantastic cutting board. He can literally make anything for you that involves wood, because 2V loves wood. So we're going to take a little bit of a break, and we will be right back. And we're back. We took a break. We were only gone for 2 minutes. Wait, no, it's already up.
You sure?
Yes, I'm sure. Oh, you were talking about your headphones.
Duh.
You pointed at your mic. You were like,
well, yeah, that's what I was telling you.
Yeah, exactly. You were like, I turned up your mic. I didn't turn up your headphones. You do this if you can't hear from your headphones.
Right,
you do
but
this.
I couldn't hear from the microphone. I still can't hear from the microphone. It's cutting out.
Not hear from the microphone.
It's cutting out. There you go. Okay. Oh, my God. It sounds so much better.
Okay. Well, it doesn't sound like you're cutting out now.
Well, yes, because there's a microphone now.
We're back. It's That Little Gay Talk Show. We're back. I'm having a good time with a future host of his own show under my network. Yay!
Woohoo!
Woohoo! Talk about your show one more time.
So, guys, my show is the H-Town Spin. It is basically all things, basically whatever's going on, whatever hot topic is going on, as well as what hot topic is affecting Houston and the people in Houston. And it's an hour-long show. It's every Thursday, 8 p.m. Please tune in, join us. All the links are up on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at the Houston.spin@gmail.com.
Okay, and we will, I think I can say this with, I'm not going to say impunity, but I think that I can say this with honesty. No, that's not the word. I think I can say this correctly. I don't know. Anyway, you will be having guests on next week's show, right?
I will. Actually, our very first show.
Can I just, I just want to say this because I want you to save this. Do not say who your guests are.
Oh, yeah, it's a secret, guys, but they are, it's going to be a majorly good show.
Okay, so Thursday. We're going to do a little bit of promotion for next week's show. I just want to make sure, the only reason I don't want to 100% say their names is because I want to make sure
that they come.
Because I don't want to do like social media stuff for them, and then suddenly it's like, oh, they're not coming. And then we're like, then I'm like, wait a minute. I blasted out this whole thing for the last week, and they're not coming. So knock on wood that they show up. And if they do, and I firmly believe that they will, it's going to be a great, great show. It's going to be a great show. It is going to be a great show. I will be in the background. So you will hear me in the background. I'm going to do a little bit of board work. I'm going to take some pictures, that kind of stuff. So and guys, just so you know, if you tune in to my show and you hear me announce
producer Joel, that would be
me.
That would be Joel.
Joel
is producer Joel.
Look at
so
that.
That's his title on the show. It's producer Joel.
So I will say this. I will say this. You guys need to listen to him because he is fun. He is funny. He is very knowledgeable, and he talks about what he knows.
A lot of shit.
He does talk a lot of
shit. I'm really not that smart, though,
and
guys.
you know, the funny thing, I want to tell the 20 listeners of mine.
Okay.
I want to tell the 20 listeners of mine. He will probably have more listeners to me to start off with, but
probably not.
But you guys will be back.
Probably not.
You'll be back to listening to me in a heartbeat.
Probably not. No, I'm not taking anybody.
No.
I'm trying to get people, but...
Look, if you take 5 people from me, I think I'll be okay.
But the great thing is it's 2 different spectrums. I mean, you have Joel's, show of his own.
Where I get funky and I get wild, and my show is pretty open-ended. I do comedy, I do politics, I do this and that. I have guests on. I don't have guests on. It's pretty open-ended. Where John's is more focused, and trust me, when I say focused, this man is focused.
It's more hard hitting, guys. It's more like
hard hitting.
It's
hard.
All I gotta say is just tune in
with a lot of hard.
Oh my God!
And a lot of hitting.
Tune in next Thursday at 8 p.m. because
I made him laugh, y'all. I made him laugh with the hard and the hitting. His shorts got uncomfortable.
If my guests actually, if they do come through and show up, which right now I'm 1,000% assured that they will, because they're really stand up people. When they
which
come,
everybody says, Joel, you always say,
when they do show up, if you are just curious as to what the show is going to be about, next week's topic, and I can't tell you what next week's topic is, but next week's topic is literally going to blow your socks off. Like, seriously, it's a really good. It's going to be a really good, eye-opening show, and it's
okay. I can't wait.
And I'm serious. I can't wait either. I'm like literally
I can't wait
excited
to listen to it because I honestly.
Well, Joe, you're going to be here.
Honestly, we have set up structure and everything else, but I have no idea what his show is going to be about. He's keeping that in the dark.
I am.
But we've set up structure. We've set up everything else, but he wants to keep that in the dark. I'm going to do a little bit of promotion for him, of course, next week, but I'm not going to know what's going on.
But let me give your listeners just another little caveat about like what my show is just going to entail.
Oh wow, we're really going to.
Yeah. I busted out the big caveat, right? So the cool thing about my show, aside from the structure of it,
John, can I say this before you go on?
Sure, Joe.
Because it is that little gay talk show.
Oh my God!
So I'm gonna have to throw this out here to my audience. I peeked under your door and I did see how big your caveat was. I'm sorry, I had to do it.
I'm embarrassed now. You could have saved that for after the show, Joe.
I had to say it. I'm sorry.
Anyway, guys. So there's 2 staples to my show. There's 2 pillars or whatever you want to call it, right? The first one is there is alcohol allowed on my show.
Oh, like on all my shows.
You can drink bourbon, whiskey, wine, whatever. Like, we'll be a bunch of winos up in here. Like,
you
seriously.
did not learn the lesson from the last time we tried to do a show on alcohol. With alcohol.
But
on alcohol.
But
with alcohol.
The second great thing is the format is, whether it's just me or whether it's Joel and I, or whether I have actual in-studio guests and stuff like that.
Well, it can't be me and you because people will get confused. They'll be like, "Am I listening to?"
Well, you might chip in every now and then, right?
If I do, it's with funny gay stuff,
right? So my the second pillar is I want my guests to be comfortable. So I want them to express themselves, verbally, however they want to express themselves verbally. So cursing is definitely welcomed. It's encouraged. Now, not every word that comes out of your mouth has to be a curse word.
May I say this?
Sure.
May I say this, John?
Sure.
Okay. As your producer, I had to put your show out every week.
Producer Joel.
as every week at 8 o'clock on Thursdays. That's 8 o'clock on Thursdays. The H-Town Swing.
That's right.
So Spin. I'm sorry. I came up with the name, but I still got it wrong.
It's okay.
Although,
H-Town Spin. H-Town Spin
the
with John Floyd.
Every Thursday at 8 o'clock. So, yeah, so I have to put that show up there. So here's the thing. I forgot the question.
So, wine and cocktails are encouraged. Cursing is encouraged.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. You realize that there are features that your show is going to be explicit. I've already put adult content for your show, so you don't really have to repeat the fact that. Hey, everybody!
I'm repeating it for.
I said the word "fuck."
I'm repeating it for your listeners that may be inclined.
Okay, my listeners
to listen.
My listeners have heard me talk about where a dick and an ass go.
Right. Well, okay. So, I mean,
Yeah, they've heard those conversations.
Now, I will never say no. I will never say no shit like that.
Okay. But you don't do anal in the hetero world?
I don't. I mean, maybe
have you ever
they
tried
do,
anal in the hetero world?
I don't do that.
You've never asked a girl,
could
I try
no,
anal?
I don't do that.
Why?
Because I don't. I just don't.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't want to. I feel like I don't mean to embarrass you. I'm not embarrassing you.
You're not. But
I don't. I feel like as a former club promoter, you've heard things.
Of course. I mean,
and you've probably seen one or two things.
Yeah.
One or two things.
Yeah. So, a few. Yeah.
So I don't want to get into your personal life, but you have never asked a woman for anal.
No.
Ever.
No. Based on the stuff that I've seen, I'm like. No, that's okay.
You were the worst club promoter ever.
No, because my job as a club promoter was to get people to come to the club.
To come to the club.
I didn't care what happened.
Okay.
Wherever.
Oh my God! You were the worst club promoter ever.
Well, but that wasn't my job. I wasn't paid to care about all that. I was paid to bring people into the club. That was it.
Maybe. And this is what I'd love for you to do. And I'm sorry, I feel like that.
I'm not doing that, Joe.
Okay. Doing what?
Whatever you're suggesting, I'm not.
We're not talking about anal anymore.
Oh, okay.
Okay. We're not. What?
Okay. I literally thought you were about to be like, well, why don't you try? No, we ain't doing that shit.
No, we're not. Oh, look at that. We're doing that shit.
We're not doing that shit. My ass says,
no pun intended?
My ass says exit only.
Okay, you know what? We're not talking. Wait, where did your ass? I was talking about anal on a girl. Where did your ass come
I'm sorry.
Although I will have to have you on a show.
No.
I've had.
No, we ain't doing that either.
Where I've had heterosexual men and anal.
No.
When it comes to them, not the opposite.
No, I will not be partaking.
You might learn some new stuff.
I will not. I don't want to learn. Y'all can have that. It's okay.
I'm sorry. You might learn some stuff. Oh,
y'all can discuss that and have a Coke and a smile.
I'm choking, and oh Lord, I'm choking, and it's not no. So
see, hey guys, I'm 10 feet away from him.
Yeah,
that ain't me.
You know, he used to brag about 10 feet
back in the day. Yeah, Joe, just give away all my secrets.
Okay, you know what? Let me tell you something right now.
Just give away all my secrets, Joel.
We only have a few minutes left in the show, and I you know what? I want to throw in my own thing here, if you don't mind.
Here we go.
You know, I don't understand what it is about everybody wanting a big dick. I don't understand that. That is not a thing.
Well, look.
Okay, let me.
Well,
okay.
I can't speak on that because I don't know anything regarding that. I mean,
is it because you have one?
Joe, I don't know, man. I mean,
okay, you know,
see, now
I don't
you're
know
embarrassing
either.
me.
I'm not embarrassing you.
Yes, you are. Because you're asking me like all this crazy stuff.
Okay, you know what? Here's the thing, John. Here's what I get in this movement now. Here's what I used to get as a black man in the 90s. So how big is it?
Well,
You're black.
Yeah,
How
but,
big is it?
But we're not in the
You're
90s
black.
anymore.
How big?
We're like
Okay.
2020.
Okay, last week. You're black. How big is it?
Well, okay. I mean, that was pride. So
As
it was
white
like,
guys, no one ever asked you. It's like we're just like, okay, we'll just take whatever you can get. Right. Whatever you got, we're okay. And if it turns out to be big, we're shocked.
Well, I don't.
We're completely shocked.
I don't know how to answer that, Joe.
But black guys, you're expected. You're almost expected to. It's just expected. And do you know how many times a white guy looked at my dick and went, "You know what? I want it bigger, so I'm gonna have to go turn." I'm going to have to say no.
Hey, guys, just so you know, I mean, I'm allowing Joel to talk because
it's my show.
Because it's his show, but I have nothing to do with anything that he's saying because I don't know.
I'm just saying.
I don't know what that feels like.
I
don't.
Okay, you have not had anyone go, oh my God, well, you're white. So, and then they took one look and went, oh my God, look at that. I'm so shocked.
I'll never tell. I will never tell.
No,
I don't know.
You know what I love about white guys? The expectations are so low.
Me no speak English.
The expectations are so low.
Me no speak English.
Mm-hmm. You know the old saying, once you go white, your bills get paid.
I've never heard that one, Joel.
That is from an old comedian from a long time ago.
I've never heard that one.
I thought that was the most hilarious thing I'd ever heard.
I've never heard that one. So
once you go black, you never go back. But once you go white, your bills get paid on time.
I don't know any of that.
Oh, good Lord. Well, John, it was a pleasure to have you on the show.
Yes, sir. Likewise.
I had a good time. We had a good time. We have been doing a lot of work. We're getting ready for his show. We were going to do like a little 15-minute kind of introduction to his show.
But I think we've done that already. On my show. So I'm using my show to promote your a springboard to that.
So when your show when you look at me and go, you know what, Joel? My show was so much better than yours. And I don't need you anymore. And now I'm big and huge.
No.
And then I'm like, oh my God.
No, because.
Why are you treating me like this? I still get 10% of whatever you make. But whatever.
You know what, guys?
But you know what?
To address that, this is my first time doing a podcast. Mm-hmm. So Joel is more experienced at doing it than I am. Mm-hmm. So.
Yes, but I'm not successful at it. I'm still trying to. You know what? You know what I am. I am.
Look. Hold on.
Okay, go ahead.
There's no guarantee.
No.
That I'm going to be successful at mine. Maybe nobody listens.
You know what happened? You know who I am. Every time I watch a special about a super famous comedian or a super famous actor or what have you, and they always go back and go, "Oh, well, I wouldn't have gotten here if it wasn't for a certain little person." And then they talk about that person and they're like, well, he could have been great, but he just didn't go far enough.
No, I will say this. I will say this.
There are so many specials about the guys who are like super, super, super famous. And then they're like, well, I learned all my comedy from this guy, and you need to watch his stuff because he is amazing. And then you watch his stuff and you're like, I'm confused. This guy's not that great.
I will say this. I will say this about Joel. Mm-hmm. So
I'm a genius, but my show will never be successful.
You will never nobody will ever hear me say that Joel's not a success. Mm-hmm. Okay, if he feels that his show is not reaching the people that he wants to reach, I mean there's always going back to the drawing board. There's always redoing things and making it better and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But for you guys that don't know, Joel's greatest gift is producing and directing other people. Uh-huh. Because he gives a different point of view, especially for somebody like me. I've never done a podcast. So me, he's
going to be so successful, guys.
Me looking, and I come in today and I write down all of my thoughts on the chalkboard and stuff like that. And Joel wants to say something, but he's like, I'm going to let you finish. and then he just gives me like, you need this, and you need this here before you do this. That's producing and that's directing, right? Maybe Joel never had that when it came to his show, but I'm blessed to have somebody that's able to. I've known him since the age of 15, so we go back so far. He's always known me.
I can tell you right now, Floyd, John.
Yeah, write it down on the chalkboard.
I will write it down on the chalkboard. I can tell you right now, John, is that people did try, and I was not very thrilled about it. I did not like people telling me how to do stuff, and I think that was my downfall in a short way.
So now here's your second chance to go back and say, okay, what I'm producing or directing John to do, I'm going to do the same thing for my show, and both shows can like really, really take off.
Actually, I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to put this out here because I want John, I love you, and I want you to hear this. I think with your show, I know exactly what to do with your show. I know how to be a producer and a director with your show. I think it's going to be a fun, amazing ride. I think with my show, though, I think I'm going to have fun with it. I think I'm just going to let it be open and free and let it be its thing because I've tried to organize it. It didn't work. I've tried to direct it. It didn't work. I've had me on. I've had another person on. I've had 5 people on. And it worked for a little while, and we had a great time. And then it moved on. And I realized that maybe that's what my show is. My show evolves, changes. I have fun with it. That's what it is. So I think with your show, I know exactly what to do with your show, and I know how to, because its focus it is what it is. But I think with my show, that little gay talk show, I think I have fun with it, and I think I'm going to have some wild, wacky guests on.
Right.
We're going to talk about some amazing subjects that are going to be off the wall and everything else. And I'm just going to let people be themselves on this show. And I think I like that idea. So with my show is going to be pretty much open, and I'm going to have a good time with it. And I'm not going to worry so much about structure. But with your show, it needs structure, and it needs to have that, and I can do that. And I know how to do that. And I'm looking forward to do that as a producer and a director.
I'm one of those.
But with my show is going to be about having fun, and I just want to have fun on my show. So,
I'm very hands-on when it comes to anything with my name on it, or if my name's attached to something, that I'm going to be like one. I'm not. Well,
my name's going to be attached to it too. So I just want to make sure that, like I said, we've had conversations and everything else. I know what to do with your show, and I know exactly.
But I just want my listeners and the listeners actually to just like I'm very focused. I may not walk into the building and have my game face on the minute I walk in, but if my show's at 8:00 and I'm in the studio at 1 in the afternoon, the minute I'm in the studio, it's game face. It's like, dude, I got 7 hours to do all this and everything because I have to. I have to prep my guests. I have to do this. I have to do this. I have to do this. I got to make sure this is done and this is done and this is done. And that's a weekly thing. That's not going to be a once in a month type deal. I mean, that type of commitment. Because I do believe that if you want a good show, you got to have good content. You got to have good people working.
You have to. You have to.
And like I tell people, outside of the studio when they ask me what my show is, I'm like, it's me behind a microphone, but it's not just me.
And I think
like I have 2 producers. I have one that's going to be taking pictures. I have one that's doing my the soundboard or this or this or this. So it's not just me. Yes, it's the H-Town Spin with John Floyd, but trust me, John Floyd encompasses other people. It's not just me. It's there's other people involved.
Yeah, of course. And I'm looking, like I said, I'm so looking forward to producing and directing your show because I think it's going to be fun. But I want to let everybody know that I have not given up or will never not do that little gay talk show, because that little gay talk show, it's my fun time.
It's like the little engine that could.
It's like the little engine that could. It's my fun time. It's me being wild and crazy and having a good time and letting loose, because I think with your show, I'm going to be that thing, and I need it, and it does help me focus and everything else. But creatively and everything else, can't wait to that little gay talk show. We're about to have some fun. Y'all are about to have some fun, so get ready. His show's going to come on at 8:00 every Thursday. My show will be on at sometime on a Thursday because I'm gay and nothing ever comes out on time and everything else. So, 9 o'clock, I guess, 9 o'clock or 7 o'clock or on Wednesday.
Somewhere between 7, either 7 or 9, not 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock is reserved.
Okay, well, anywho, I'm going to end this show by saying that I had a great time with Mr. John Floyd, and y'all look forward to his show next week. It's going to be fun. My next episode, I am going to actually have guests on my show, and we will get into that, and we're going to have some fun, some art, some sex. Some sex is going to be talked about, some gay sex.
Oh, God.
Some art and some gay sex is going to be talked about, because my guest is going to be fun and amazing, and he might paint some stuff on my room or something. I have no idea what's going to happen. So we're going to look. So we're not going to look. We're going to say goodbye. So, John, tell everybody goodbye. One more time, promote your show.
All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Next Thursday, the kickoff to the H-Town Spin with John Floyd starts every Thursday at 8 p.m.
And that little gay talk show will come out when it comes out. Because that's the show that it is. Don't worry. Look, I guess I'll say this. I'll come up with a time. Every Thursday at 6 o'clock. We'll call it 6 o'clock. Even though, we'll call it 6 o'clock. But anywho.
Six-ish.
We're going to call it 6-ish because I'm not only am I gay, but I'm also, let me take that back. Not only am I black, but I'm also gay. So 6-ish, 6:15-ish. 6:30.
6:59-ish.
6:59-ish. Something like that.
Something-ish.
Oh, my God. I've been outgayed by the straight guy. 6:59-ish.
I'm not. No.
Okay, John, calm down.
I got you.
Calm down. We all know you're heterosexual until you have a six-pack of beer.
Not even, then too.
And we're out. We'll see you guys later. Have a good night.